Okay, everyone, let's go ahead and do this. This is Chapter 2, Homework number 2 in our CPM curriculum. Calculate the slope of the line shown on the graph at the right, I believe. Right, so the slope is going to be for this line, and you need to find 2 points. So here's 1 point, and here's another point. Okay, you can find in between, like here, there's another point right here, which they don't show you, but let's go ahead and do it. Just if we weren't thinking, let's just use the points that they gave us. So from there, we need to make our slope triangle, right? So here's our line right here. So what's our change in y, right? That's the vertical distance right there. So that change in y, or delta y, all you have to do is count how many blocks, and that's going to be 2 blocks, 2 units. And then your change in x, right? So that's that right there. Change in x. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so our slope, okay, we can call it slope, or we can call it m, doesn't matter. But the slope is going to be found by taking the change in y and dividing it by the change in x. And the change in y is 6. Sorry, 2. I knew that. 2. The change in x is 6. So 2 divided by 6, and no, the answer is not 3. Right? 2 divided by 6, you're going to have to go ahead and do a fraction or simplify that. Because remember, I might have mentioned that you want to pick points that are very close. So these are a little further apart. If you had picked these 2 points in blue, that point, and this point, you wouldn't have to do any reducing. But because we didn't pick the 2 closest point, we have to divide each of these by 2. Okay, so 2 divided by 2, that's 1. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So your slope is 1/3. Which equation below has no solution? Explain how you know. Well, to figure out if there's no solution or not, you have to actually solve the equation, right? Or at least start to solve it. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 1 is 4. So it'd be 4x plus 4 equals 2x plus 4. This one will have a solution. Yeah. This one over here, if you think about this one, negative 5x and negative 5x. Think about that. They're both negative 5x's, so nothing wrong there. But when I go into try to move one to the other side or get rid of it, right, plus 5x, I'm going to do the opposite, the inverse operation. I do plus 5x. Guess what happens? Yeah, they cancel out. These negative 5x cancels the positive 5x. Negative 5x cancels the positive 5x. And you end up with 9 plus 2, that's 7. Right? 9 plus 2, so 7 equals 4. Okay, what happens to the x? Well, all the x's died off, right? They got canceled away. So because there's no more x's, this one has no solution. Okay, because 7 does not equal 4. That's what we call a false statement. Okay, if it was 7 equals 7, then that would be a true statement, and that would actually mean that there's many solutions. But if I was solving this one, since I already got this started, I would go ahead and minus 2x. That would cancel. So I get 2x plus 4 equals 4, and I would go ahead and subtract 4. That would cancel, and I would get 2x equals 0. And then if I divide it by 2, that would cancel. I get x equals 0, because 0 divided by 2 is 0. So this one has a solution. The solution is x equals 0. This one doesn't have a solution because it's false, so this has a no solution. Evaluate the expression below for the given values. Okay, so this one, we're going to put in, instead of x, we're going to put in negative 2. So you see that? Instead of x, we're going to put in negative 2. And instead of y, we're going to put in -5. Okay, so I'm going to copy this down. So this is, here, I'll put it in green. 1 minus 2 times negative 2, right? Or you can say -2 times -2, which is actually a positive 4. And then it's plus 3 times -5, right? And again, if you look at this, positive 3 times -5 is -15. Okay, so 1 plus 4 is 5 minus 15. That makes -10. That's your answer. Let's do this again. Instead of x, we're going to put -1. So instead of x, we're going to put -1. Okay, so let's do this in green. So we got 5 minus, and -1 minus 2 is -3. We need to square that. So 5 minus -3 squared is actually going to give you positive 9. -3 times -3 is positive 9. But we still have the minus, so we have it there. And then 5 minus 9 is -4. That's your answer. K, we're going to put in -1. Okay, so this is going to give you -5 over, and -1 plus 1 is 0. And -5 divided by 0, this is actually what we call undefined. Okay, if you use a calculator, it's going to tell you error, division by 0, because you can't divide it by 0. Okay, this one here, we're going to use x as 2, so we're going to put 2 right here. There, let's put the 4 right here. Okay, so x is 2, and we're going to put in the y is 5. Okay, so I'm going to put this in green. So it's 1/2 times 2, or half of 2 is 1. It's a plus. So it'll be 1 plus, and then 1/3 times 5. That's going to be 1 times 5 is 5, and 3 times 1 is just 3. So the top number 1 times 5 is 5. The bottom number 3 times 1, because there's a 1 underneath the 5. 3 times 1 is 3. So it's 1 plus 5/3. Now, you may not remember this, but that 1 is really 1 over 1. And if you want to combine these, you can use a calculator, but you can also use a common denominator. So times it by 3, because that has a 3. So really what we're doing is we're going to do it 3/3 plus 5/3. And what does that make? 3 plus 5 is 8/3. That's your answer. Okay, calculate the output. Oh, back to function machines. Okay, so if we put 1 in here, so that means that 1 goes here and 1 goes here. Okay, so this comes out to be 1 divided by 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, and that's undefined, so you can't do that. So f of 1, meaning the function, if you put 1 in there, it's going to give you an undefined. Meaning, if you do it on the calculator, it's going to tell you there's an